Hey there, it's Andrea Henriksen here from The Breakfast Coach, and welcome to today's cool and juicy strategy for you to gain more power and more results in your business. Now, one of the things that we notice on a really consistent basis is with our clients who we've been working with for a number of years, they really start to gain significant momentum when they've had their business around that 3 to 5 year mark. And I don't know about you, but if you recall back to when you first started your business, in that first 12 months, perhaps even to 2 years, there is probably a strategy that you may have been running or you may be running now that is taking you out of the game of running your business really consistently. And for me, I've had my business for 8 years now, but I can still really clearly remember the strategy that I was running that was taking me out of my business and, getting even better results that I wanted for my business and my life. And that strategy was, I was doing a lot of networking and I was completely outside of my comfort zone. And of course, I had never ran a business before. I grew up in small business with my parents, but I had never actually ran my own business, and I hadn't done the day-to-day work of working on the business as well as implementing the technical aspects of the business as well. So it was all very new to me. And one of the ways that I would take myself out of the game was to go and have a little nana nap in the afternoon. And that seemed to be just what worked for me to be able to deal with the overwhelm that I was experiencing in my business. And the cool thing is I'm not alone. I have had clients in that 8 years who have also said that that's what they do in their business when they are feeling overwhelmed and they just can't deal with what's going on in their business. Other ways of and other strategies for dealing with overwhelm in business is to perhaps go out and have lunch with friends or go and see family members and be doing things that really just are a distraction to the work at hand of building a business. It could be indulging in drama and chaos and fruitless activities that really make no difference to the business. And I'm not talking about getting out and going for a brisk walk, because I think that's an excellent way of shaking up the strategy and breaking through a strategy that's not working. So if any of this sounds like you, and I'm sure it will resonate with many of you, you can smash through these strategies. If you're experiencing them still and you want to change it, it's a matter of changing the strategy of overwhelm. And what's really interesting is at the last Breakfast Coach Mastermind, we had this very discussion where we talked about overwhelm. And when you're starting a business, or even if you've been in business for a while, there's lots of information to pour through, and there's lots of things that you need to learn. You actually have to learn a whole bunch of things to do really well in business, and that is what can cause the overwhelm. And so, you've got all this information coming at you, and it's very difficult to decipher what's important for now, what has to be done now. And one of the ways of doing that is to be able to change the strategy from overwhelm to change the strategy to organization and planning. And planning in and of itself is a very particular skill. If you aren't that good at planning, it's really cool to be able to fess up to that and come to terms with that, because I can assure you that becoming good at planning, in fact, becoming a master of planning what will have you be able to stop doing the overwhelm and to be able to create even better results in your business. So at the last Breakfast Coach, there was quite a number of people in the room who are experiencing overwhelm, but for them, the overwhelm meant that they were, frauds in their business, or they weren't good enough to have a business. And so it was really taking them out and allowing for other distractions to get in the way of them getting out and getting new clients and fulfilling on, the promise and the commitment that they'd made to themselves when they first started their business. And that's what's possible, changing the strategy of overwhelm to something else. So for me, I changed the strategy of overwhelm to a strategy of becoming even more certain in myself that I knew exactly what I was doing and that I was really excellent and great at what I did in my business. And I'm also a brilliant planner. And, for some people that will take time. For me, that was my background, so it was an easy transition. So the important thing for you is to find what you can make overwhelm mean that's actually really positive rather than negative. So it could be that overwhelm means the opportunity to get organized. It could mean the opportunity to create a new way of doing things. It could mean the opportunity to get curious about what do you want to do instead of what you have been doing. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, then get out there and go for a walk so you can start to organize your thoughts in your head and come back and then write it down on paper. The critical thing about overwhelm is to have a structure that helps you to put all of those thoughts that are occurring inside of your, what's going on between the ears on paper so that you can get it out of your head and see if it makes sense on paper. So I'd really love to invite you to come along to this month's breakfast because we're doing more work on this and we're working on the hidden forces that keep us from playing, that has us play small in our business, and how can we change that to make it a really useful and dynamic way of overcoming whether it's overwhelm or any other hidden force that's impacting you and your performance in your business. We'd love to see you there. It's a room with really cool people who are doing fantastic things in their business and they're getting results. So come along, join us, click the link, and I'd love to see you there on Monday. Take care.